Hello, it's me again. Dandy's World is currently in its Easter event, and episode 8 of the Amazing Digital Circus has recently dropped, scaring and horrifying every fan of the show in existence. To cope with the disappearance of the one we miss very dearly, I decided why not make a fan crossover event between the Amazing Digital Circus and Dandy's World. I'm going to condense these freaks into their own little toon forms, giving them stats and abilities as if they were a regular event toon. Basically, imagine it the same way as a normal holiday event, just instead the characters are from the Amazing Digital Circus. Wow, what an amazing new adventure! I'll stop with the impressions now, just get on with the video. Starting with Pomni, who left their crying little mark on the internet for everyone to see. And I mean everyone. So, Dandy's World characters are either one or the other. They're usually either an object or an animal species. Unlike everyone else in the Amazing Digital Circus, Pomni isn't either of those. She's just a jester. So I had to take creative liberties and look up what clowns do, because I don't really know much about clowns, and one of the first things that popped up was ventriloquism, or puppetry. So since there's already like 3 clown characters that already took up other iconic parts of clowns, I had to go with creating Pomni as a puppet instead of just like a regular jester cartoon character. So since she's basically a floating marionette now, I made her immune to Ecor leaks, which are basically puddles on the ground that make you slow and make you ill in-game, since every character that can float or fly is immune to them because they can just fly over them. Since Pomni was the main character, I debated on whether making her a main or a starter. I ended up making her a starter and saving someone else for the main spot. As the show's self-insert for the audience, I imagined them as a character that can be easy for anyone to pick up, so starter was just the most fitting. Her ability was definitely the hardest out of all of the planning for her, because she doesn't really do much in the case of skills or abilities. All we know about her, really, is that she was an accountant for a supermarket chain, and liked exploring abandoned buildings. All she had going for her that I could go off of is that she is easy with connecting with people. She connects with the rest of the cast pretty easily and managed to get on good terms with them fairly fast. So I gave her the ability Pep Talk, where she can immediately recover 25% of anyone's stamina through her reassurance. As for the design itself, I kept it pretty simple as to match Dandy's tunes, because most of them are fairly straightforward. They're easy for kids to draw, which is kind of the point, because they're a cartoon. So I simplified her design and put the stripes on her legs that a lot of Dandy's World characters seem to have for some reason. I kept their colors the same. I didn't really change anyone's colors much. And that's Pomni. Here's a list of her stats, her requirements, and her ability. Pause to read if you want to see all my hard work. Anyway, Ragatha is next, and she is our uncommon of the group. Basically, your Flight, your Ginger, your Sylvester, you know, like those 3. Ragatha is a ragdoll, no duh, so I had no worries about what thing I had to make her be. She's just the ragdoll. Anyways, Ragatha is basically a people pleaser, even to the NPCs, so I wanted to incorporate that into her ability, because besides that, she just does the same thing as Pomni, but worse, because apparently no one finds her genuine. So her ability is friendliness. This is a passive ability that makes all of Dandy's items have a 10% discount just for her because she's so friendly. As for stats, I made her more focused on movement while making her a bit of an all-rounder. In every adventure, she tries her best to do the goal or the story of the adventure. The only things that really hinder her are obstacles such as the stupid sauce or things out of her control. So I imagine if Kane took them to the Dandy's World universe and treated it as an adventure, she would probably be trying to do the machines and stuff, because that's how you progress. But I wanted her mainly oriented around movement, because she used to play softball and ride horses. Both seem pretty athletic to me. Ironically, all of that combined makes her pretty good for solos. As for the design itself, I basically simplified it to be in the Dandy's World art style, and gave her this little bonnet thing reminiscent of Strawberry Shortcake, because those dolls are pretty reminiscent of Raggedy Ann to me. I feel like they generally have the same vibe, and I feel like Ragatha would kind of like Strawberry Shortcake if she grew up with it. Since she has the bonnet instead of the bow now, I put the bow on the back of her dress instead. And that's Ragatha. I kind of like her design the most out of all of them. I feel like I was very able to be flexible with this one. Here are her stats and abilities, and on to the next one. Pause to read. Why, if it isn't Jaxie Boy, the resident funny one. So Jax the rabbit is a rabbit, and therefore I had a perfect character to use as a base for his design, because Coco exists. Coco the chocolate bunny. That's right, gang, we're making Jax small. So Jax is noticeably away from the rest of the group most of the time. Almost always in every single teaser, he's kind of to the side in some way, just away from the group. He doesn't really do teamwork, and when he does have a team, he most often than not sabotages them. So I decided to focus on him being more of a solo toon, because if he was a toon that had an ability that harmed other toons, that realistically would not be fun at all for gameplay. Basically the Gigi situation before her ability got reworked. So one of the most iconic traits about Jax that we learned from episode 1 is that he has keys everywhere, to every door, to every room. So I was going to do something about like doors, but Dandy's World maps don't have doors unless they're part of the wall, meaning you can't go inside of them. So instead, I thought, like, why don't he make his own door? We learn in episode 8 that they all have the ability to conjure stuff, considering Jax is the most whimsical, I guess you could say, out of all of them. He probably would be able to do it very easily. So I made his ability Bunny Trick, where he puts up a barrier in the archway of a room. He cannot do it in random hallways or on staircases, it just has to be a room. It can trap the Twisteds, but not the Toons, for gameplay reasons. His stats are also pretty well-rounded, it's just his stealth that is awful, because he's very noticeable. Almost everyone in the group can notice him when he walks into a room or tries to leave the room. And that's Jax. He is delightfully mischievous. I tried to make his mischievous nature present even with his cute small bunny form. Here are his stats if you want to pause and read, and the next one is our last and our main. No, it is not Kane, even though it rhymes, because Kane doesn't participate in his own adventures. And also, he's kind of dead now. And I don't really want to think about that too much right now. So we got Kinger, and there's a lot we can do with Kinger. He has the whole, like, gaining sanity in the dark thing, he has the glowing, he has the healing in that one episode. So I tried to shove that all into one toon, and it was a mess at first, but I think I got it. I made him a healer character because I am not letting that healing butterfly thing he has go to waste. We already have so little healers in Dandy's World, one of them is locked behind an event on Christmas. So what's the harm in one more? So instead of going the Sprout and Ginger route of using tapes, and instead of going the Cosmo route of sacrificing hearts, I made him sacrifice stamina. His ability is called Insect Collection. He gives up 125 stamina to heal another person. That is approximately 2-star stamina, which is how much stamina he has. I want to specify only 125. If you get stamina boosts from cards or Dial's Floor, that will not be included. It's strictly 125, his base stamina. His other ability only works in blackouts. It swaps his stealth and skill check stats because extraction stats often appear as like the typical smart character stats. Given that Kinger is a computer scientist, I think that would like work well in his favor, so he has something to do other than like running around. It would also make sense in universe because he glows, so he would basically become the same as Brightney in that situation. Brightney infamously has 0 stealth because she's a lamp. This is probably my most risky sort of balancing build because there's not really much you can sacrifice for healing in-game. And that's Kinger, my favorite character in the Amazing Digital Circus, by the way. I took most of the inspiration from Astro, as he also has like a large cover-up on him, his blanket. I know this stat build is pretty out there, but what do you think? Leave any fixes or ideas you have in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching my video, as Mario would say. Thanks so much for watching this video. I can't believe the end of the Amazing Digital Circus is already almost here. That sounds crazy to me. It feels like it's only been a year. Rhymes. Anyways, comment down below your excitement for this. June 19th, is it? Or June 9th? I don't know. But it's coming out way sooner than expected. So I'm gonna be buckled in for that. I hope you watching this video has a good day, night, evening, or whatever.
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Drink, swalla la la.